So we're officially here. We're here in Berlin for Superbooth 2026. Made the trip across the pond from New York to Berlin on Monday. Today is Tuesday, May 5th. So I have 2 days to really just be a tourist, check out the city. I have zero plans for this trip. Zero things planned in terms of workshops or things to do. I just wanted to come solo trip it and, you know, just see what comes of the trip. Obviously, I'm super excited to catch a ton of great sets at Superbooth. Super excited to meet a ton of people in the industry, in the synth space at Superbooth, and get to meet people that I've interacted with online in person for the first time. So that should be super exciting. Hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into it. Good morning. It is a very wet and rainy and cold day here in Berlin, but that is not stopping us today for heading to our destination, which I'm super excited about. Today is Wednesday, the day before Superbooth, so a lot of people are getting in today, and I booked myself a session at the Synth Museum in downtown Berlin, so super excited. And this is something that I saw on Instagram, and essentially you can try out a ton of analog and old school classic synths. You can actually play them, they're not behind glass, so super excited about that, and let's go check it out. So one thing that I've heard about this place is that the entrance or the entry alleyway to get into it is looks pretty sketch before you get to your synthesizer heaven, and it's pretty hard to find. Definitely a very interesting experience. So the Synth Museum was an incredible time. Met some really cool people there. Everyone is just so into the gear. Everyone is so into the music. People from all over. When I first got there, it was super packed because it is Superbooth week. So I expected that, which was even better though, because I got to connect and talk with many more people just about the gear and everything that we were doing. That was an incredible experience. The Buchla was probably my favorite synth that I played with. I had actually never played with a Buchla before, so to play with the Buchla was so much fun. I think I'm gonna end it for today here. I'm about to go out to dinner and then head out to the first live hardware show of this Berlin trip. Super excited. And even more exciting, tomorrow is day one of Superbooth, so stick around for that. It is day one of Superbooth, and I am so excited. Right now it is 12:30. We're gonna Uber, which is a short 5-minute Uber ride to Superbooth. And at 1 o'clock, we're gonna be meeting with ATOV Project. And today's plan is to just free roam, be a free spirit, link up with other creators and other people, and just say what's up and check out all the gear and get my footing for day one and get my bearings for my first Superbooth. Last night was absolutely incredible. Shout out last night, because last night was an amazing show. All live music at OHM, which is right next to Tresser. It was just everyone that played was absolutely incredible, which for Headless Horseman's set is the part where I was just like non-stop on the dance floor, could not stop dancing, could not stop grooving. It was so good. So yeah, let's head over there right now. Arthur from
Hello.
ATOV, and walk us through the Faderpunk today, or anything that
Yeah.
you'd like to highlight.
So yeah, Faderpunk is our new product. We launched it in October last year, and since launch actually it's been evolving a lot. And we've had 5 or so updates, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, basically since launch we've had 6 more apps and lots of new features. Actually something that is really cool and that's happened last month is that we've had our first community submitted app, because the firmware is open source, somebody took it and they started doing their own apps with it. And so Formid from our Discord bought it, the mutable instrument grids, and yeah, so now it's there, and that's actually started inspiring some other people to start doing more stuff, and that's actually something super cool and that we were hoping to happen. It's finally happening, so that kind of feels like an achievement. So on Faderpunk, for the next update, I have 3 more sequences, I think, that I'm going to be launching next month. And now generally just adding more and more of the feature requests. So we have a Discord where people come and suggest a lot of good ideas, and we try and implement as many of them as possible. And yeah, so that's a very kind of exciting part of this project, is like having the community kind of helping us improve the product and making it like kind of a community effort in general. Oh, also one thing, we have an expander, so we don't have the panel yet, but Faderpunk has a bunch of connectors on the back, including something called the Punk Bus. And the Punk Bus is a output module basically for the Faderpunk. So the idea is that you take this, put it in your system, do your patch using this, and just connect an HDMI cable, and then you have all of the connection directly from the Faderpunk into your system. So if you play live, that's like a super easy way to set up. And yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Arthur, for the demo. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming, and yeah, I hope to see you soon.
Guys, we are here with Raphael from Ohmforce, and he's going to take us through a couple of new features of the BOHM that we're super, super excited about. Raphael, take it away.
Okay, so yeah, today we have we released like a new model made in collaboration with Mark Fenger. It's called HPN here, and the idea is like to have like more some sort of hypno kind of model.
Do you want to talk about the secret, maybe percussion module, or no? You know.
I mean, I can say like quickly. So, I mean, right now they are completely prototypes, so we are just assessing if people are interested in it. There would be the legacy of Ohmforce into a module. So for now, I only made Fromage, Hematome, and Homicide, which would come as like 4 bands with actually, so 1 band for the subs and process, and then 3 bands of distortions, compression, expander, and gates. So free from the original algorithm, and this is like even more like a prototype. It's more the idea of having something to complete with BOHM, which wouldn't be neither a kick or a snare, but everything else, with generative sequences, and somehow each model will combine some sounds, typically hi-hats, percussions, toms, whatever, but you have a cohesive sounds, and with sequences that would match some of the sound, to have quickly running like some percussions, typically for live setups or for inspiration. And yeah, but it's very, very early. And so we are trying actually to see if people are interested in that. And yeah, and there is a huge list of features we brought for the firmware, where you can separate the BOHM and groove outputs. That's something that people ask a lot. Also on the tabs out of groove, to have all sorts of envelopes, the envelope of docking, from the performer, from the BOHM, like to drive compressors or VCAs. And then you can loop snapshots with top positions to make copies of snapshots for live performances. Also like to tweak like easily. And I mean, there is like a lot of them. Post-EQ also, like a big demand. Like in a club, to make sure that your sound is perfect. You've got 3 bands, so one is a low shelf, one high shelf, and one picking filter, where you can control frequency Of course, like the boost cuts and also the Q factor. And yeah, so more and more. Thank you.
All right, so day one was absolutely incredible. And I just put out a little reel of just iPhone footage, basically recapping that, yes, the gear, the things, the stuff at Superbooth is incredible, so much fun. But what really makes this entire experience worth it and incredible is the people, is the community. It's the people behind the stuff, the people behind the gear. Not just talking to them about the gear, obviously that's amazing, but just talking to them as people, that there are people behind the screens, there are people behind the products, and just having that shared love for the gear. So with that being said, let's head to Superbooth for day two. Ready?
All right, let's do it, yeah.
All right, guys, so I'm here with David from OXI. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
So I wanted to have a conversation here with you because I love sequencers. Sequencers, along with modulation and everything, is one of my favorite parts about modular Eurorack, right? But the conversation I wanted to have with you was specifically about immediacy. How fast can you improvise something on the fly when you're performing?
Yeah.
So I wanted you to, if you could show us some features about the OXI that kind of fit that bill.
Totally, yeah, absolutely. Like, as far as like being immediate and getting into it, you can go into, let's just download, put a different sequencer on here. We'll do like the chord sequencer.
Right, thank you.
So for me, as somebody who doesn't have a background in music, I don't know a lot about the technical side of things, but I have an ear, right? So, and we all have an ear. So being able to like have chord shapes already like ready to go is very helpful. And if I change these keys here, it's going to change the voicing, the types, the inversions. This is all really fun stuff. Well, now we've added another thing, it's like a chord palette. Enemies. Now what's happening is like, let's say I've come up with a nice like chord. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting chord. I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna like save it here. And now this row is gonna give me a chord shape that will be a likely progression. So it's a basic like chord progression, and a more complex progression, and then even a more complex progression. So we go back here, and now I can do. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. So I'll save that here, and then I'll do another one, and I'll say that sounds good. Okay, so now I've just picked 3 chords. I got the progression. I don't know a ton about music theory, but I just did the progression. It sounds pretty interesting, and so I can quickly take that and I say, okay, I can actually play it while I'm playing a beat, or I can just swing over here and say, I want that one here, that one here, that one here, that one here. And let's just see what that sounds like. I'm gonna make the loop shorter.
And you're off to the races.
So yeah, it's like I just created something really quick there by just a few steps. I can then also like say, I love that pattern. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna put it right here. And now I'm going to put it here too. And now I'm going to make an iteration of that pattern. So I just quickly like have that one, and I'm just going to say, all right, I'm going to change this one. I'm going to say maybe change the voicing a little bit. Or let me try this. Yeah, I'll just make a completely different chord. I just changed that one note, right? So I'm going to save that one. And now we can go back to here. Oops, sorry. Back to here. Back to here. And I'll start with that one we just heard. And now I'm going to do a variation. Yeah, so I go back. So now I'm making parts to my song. Now I'm creating a story quickly with all these simple tools. And again, there's like lots of cool menus and different ways of like diving in and getting really specific and really prescriptive and really interesting, but just on the surface, we're starting to like make music.
Right, and exactly what you just showed there, that quick variation change, instantly, intuitively, those are like the big cornerstones for people like me that are centered all around live performance. So
Yes.
that was amazing to see. David, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Oh, man,
and it's
thank
been
you
great
for
to
being
meet
here.
you and hanging out with you here
Yeah,
at
this has
Superbooth.
been awesome. Yeah, thank you everybody for watching.
I am here with Francois from Shakmat. Thank you so much for taking the time to
Thank you
speak
for
with
coming.
me.
Thank you for coming.
So me particularly, I am excited to talk about and see and get my hands on the Ballista Blast.
Yes.
I've been seeing all the content online. It sounds incredible. And also
Thank you.
would want to talk about Lancer's Lash and the Queen's Court,
Yes.
if you may. So go
Let's
ahead,
go.
take
Let's
it
go
away.
ahead. So Ballista Blast, what is it? It's a synthesizer voice. It's a hybrid digital analog. So it works with what we call engines. And what are the engines? Mainly the way the analog chain and the VCO, the digital VCO will behave. So we have three different engines: classic, wavetables, and FM. So for the classic one, what is it? The classic one? It's all you want to do with saw and squares, like kind of sub, sub-saw, sub-square, dual, unison, sync with noise and chords, like all the classic stuff you can have with saw and squares. You have different filters, again analog filters, because filters, VCA, distortion and LPG are fully analog. So the first type is a two-pole filter. You have a two-pole bandpass, a two-pole high pass, and a four-pole low pass, which has a more like acid feeding, as you can hear. So on the analog side, you have distortion, two types of distortions. We use a four-pole filter with distortion, and that's the second type of distortion. So let's remove the distortion, and let's now jump to the second engine, which is wavetables. So the way it works here, for the classic and wavetable engine, is you have the filter cutoff on harmonics, filter on phases, so resonance on the on-phases control, and the parameter, which is the parameter for the classic engine, and the wavetable selection in wavetable mode. So let's go in wavetable mode. You have 32 factory wavetable, and you have also alt mode, which adds like a chorus ensemble, as you can hear. So let's go through a bit of wavetables. So you have some two different parameters to give a bit of live or IDM feeling to the sound. So let's go with it. You get a very randomly sequence, right? Let's reload a preset in it. Because you have presets, 256 presets by banks of 16s, it's select bus compatible, CV control on everything. You have any Shakmat module with a pitch control, a lock feature, which allows to lock the pitch knob, which became an octave shift. So you do your detuning by mistake your VCO during a live set. You can have up to 2 expanders by Ballista Blast. Expanders are like LFO or envelopes to add additional modulations. It has a assignation matrix, and also the expander is part of the preset. So you have a full recall of the expanders and Ballista Blast with the presets.
Okay.
So I think I covered, pretty properly the Ballista Blast. A lot of people are asking, so let's mention this. We have the Lancer's Lash coming.
Do you mind if I turn it on?
Yeah, of course, here. So the Lancer's Lash is a multi-model snare module. We have 7 modules right now. Same thing, we have a SD card for firmware upgrade. So we might think about other module after. The first one is a typical analog one. We have another one which is called the slap, in between a clap and a snare. Modal, which is like more realistic with physical modeling, even more realistic. FM, which is more a bit like industrial, with the FM process. You have a distortion for each model. Then you have granular resin, which has like grains on top of the analog snare. You can choose which sounds for the grains and the density of pitch of the grain. And then you have the blend engine, which blends actually boom bap samples together, and we succeeded to have like to extract the body and the timbre from the boom bap snare. So you have the crossfade between different bodies and crossfade between different timbres of boom bap snares. For a total of 64 plus the crossfade different snare. As in any Shakmat module like this, you have a randomizer. So here we go. Last thing we can talk about is Prince Code, which is a very new one, the new prototype we're teasing. There's a lot of things to say about this, and I'm sure there's some video we'll cover it in very in-depth. So let's do a very short introduction. So what is it? It's a hybrid analog digital stereo matrix mixer. 4 analog inputs, 4 analog outputs, plus extra aux returns. And the way it works, you can just select the mute, the level, and edit some levels. Then you can edit different mutes, and it's the way you walk. Then you can do preset and change on the fly your preset of mixes. And after that, you have a lot of different things you can set, such as the panning of the input. You can add an auto pan on the input, like LFO on the input. You can decide a lot of configurations, the way the buttons are working. Extra point, we have also 1 modulator, 1 LFO per routing point. Because matrix mixer is very demanding in terms of modulation. So they're on board. Every routing point gets its own LFO, which can be random or signed, and every routing point gets its own envelope. And the important thing is the envelope are triggered by the assignable CV input. There are 4. It can be a way to work, but the most interesting way to work with it is every analog input, every stereo input has an audio to trigger converter. And if you go to this menu, as you see, I can see my input there. So we don't hear it right now. So let's go to this menu. I can set a threshold on the kick, and then I can decide to have, for example, an envelope relying on the trigger produced by the kick, for example, to make sidechains. So basically, every audio can interact in terms of dynamic with any routing point. So you can create like very dynamic relationship between all the different tracks. You can sequence the CV, you can morph, you can sequence the presets, you can CV the presets, and you can also morph the presets together. And everything is morphing, like the level, all the modulation parameters, and so on. And select bus compatible presets, like any of the Shakmat system. This kind of completes the modulation set we want to do at Shakmat for live performance. All those modules with big buttons, for sequencing, all the hands-on, really hands-on modules. The bigger, we are reaching at the point we have everything.
I love it. I love it. Francois, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for coming.
If there is anything else you want to mention, is this available for sale immediately?
No.
Or when is this releasing?
Before the end of the year.
Before the end of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saying it's a model like this, it's important to share experience and opinions with people. For this kind of model, I think there is a lot of demand, very precise ideas regarding the UI or the features. So we were interested to talk with people and exchange with people about it.
Get feedback and
exactly.
Are there any features before release that you're thinking about implementing on this, or you're still waiting for some other feedback?
We're still waiting for the feedback. We already have some interesting feedback, like some guy earlier say, can I do group mutes, for example? So we will do it. We found the idea with him, press the mute, just mute together and do the mute when we release the mute. But this kind of UI improvement, I think it's important to make it very performable. So if you watching the video have ideas, just reach us info@shakmat.com and here it is. Thank you very much.
All right, it is still technically day 2 of Superbooth, so took a very nice power nap after day 2. I did just want to give a few thoughts on some of the things that I saw today. Well, the first thought is that I had a list of different brands and boots that I wanted to check out, and after 2 days the list is only halfway crossed off, and I think that's a testament to all of the side quests and things that you can get caught up doing at Superbooth, which is super fun because everywhere you look is something new and shiny and like, wow, I need to go check that out. So that could just also be my ADHD. I checked out the torso booth as well. Nothing really new going on there. We know that obviously they have the T1, the S4. I did finally get to be a little hands-on with the S4. I think in videos and in content, it definitely piqued my interest, and then getting to play around with it. The S4 is a very creative way to sculpt sound and to manipulate sound going into it, and then whatever comes out of that processing can be extremely inspiring, which is exciting. I'm definitely open to playing with the S4 a bit more tomorrow. Stop by the Bafako, Electron, and Erica Synth booths. A lot of fun things going on there. Got to try out the Mylar Melodies new module, which seems super fun. Electron, pretty much the only new thing there, I believe, is the Outbox 8. I personally am not like super into. I did get to try out the Toneverk. When it first got released, I wasn't like chomping at the bit to, you know, buy it and secure one. It just, for me personally, in my setup, didn't really have a space, and I tried it out. Very fun. I think anything Electron at this point, if you choose to have it or include it in your setup, it will find a place in it. For me personally, I just don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. So the gas meter is pretty low on the Toneverk, and everything else obviously was still the same. Everything that we already know, like the Digitact and Digitone. Where else did we go today? Yes, Make Noise. So the Make Noise Plexifon was definitely up there a little more on the gas meter. I was having a conversation while getting a demo of it, and one of my questions was, what is essentially the difference between this and the Verb? And basically what I was told is that every step throughout the process, they were using different algorithms and keeping that in mind to like always make it sound different than the Verb. Plus with this, with the Plexifon, you have the added feature of an echo, and when it was demoed, it seemed pretty fun. It looked really fun. And it sounded great. It sounded really great. So I'm a sucker for effects. Oh, Bastel. So I have always been wanting to get my hands on a pizza, and I got to mess around with the other modules within the ecosystem. And that, I think, is probably my highest like gas meter. Like, I would probably secure one tomorrow if I could. And that was because the pizza just sounds so good. Obviously nothing new in terms of it being a brand new thing, a module or anything, but it was new to me because I finally got to be hands-on with it and play around with it. And the entire line of Bastel products, the Basil, Crust, the drum module, or like drum percussion module, all super fun to mess around with. I would definitely personally jump at any opportunity to have any of these because they sound great, super fun, and everyone there at the booth and the people behind it are just awesome. So definitely would recommend that. So this has been my super unorganized random thoughts from day 2 and everything that I saw today, or most of what I saw today. And I'm probably missing something because I definitely have not been recording each and every single moment of being at Superbooth, but this is just kind of what I can remember and what things that sort of stood out to me. So yeah, we are going to go to Tresor, and then I'll see you guys for the last and final unfortunate day of Superbooth tomorrow. So see you then. What's going on, guys? I'm here at Torso Electronics, and we're here with Jolene Scheffler, who is an incredible techno artist. I highly recommend checking out her music. We're gonna be exploring the S4 sampler from Torso, and more specifically in a live techno performance context, and how we can create grooves and rhythms.
I would talk through 2 ways of working with it. One can be, of course, loading your own samples into it, or work with this factory sound banks that is in it, or the sample packs from our website, or whatever you want to bring in, or if you want to directly record an external synth into the input of the S4. But let's say that you are loading a sample into the S4. So we start play something here. You can of course use the S4 just as like a sculpture machine, that this is your sound generator. You can add your own loops that you have already recorded in before the live set, and chain them in different scenes like this, and then you will be able to arrange your live set through these scenes. So for example, I can have this blip-blop sound that is going on now. I can copy this scene, paste it into the next scene. But in the next scene, I want it to sound, let's add some granular into it, so it would be okay, this is cool. Okay, this sounds pretty cool actually. So you can have this running. So you can start to create stuff like that through scenes and already arrange your live set through there. You could perhaps have 2 samples running in 2 tracks, and one of the mix channels, we have 4 tracks by the record, I didn't say that, but you can do 2 samples, and here for example you can directly have in your another synth that you have to your live set. So you can have this as like a main head mixer kind of before you're sending it out to the mixer that goes out. That's one way to work with it, and that's just creating your live set with the sounds in here, which is really cool. You could also, which is another fun way, this is it sounds cool. So another way to work with it that I find is really interesting. Let's say you have another external mixer where you have your sounds going out on, for example, 3 channels, where you have, for example, drums on one, textures, Atmos on one, and then you have like your main hooks on one channel, and you send audio back into a return channel into this one, where you set this one, or no, not playing, not now, where you let this one be like a looper or like a sound effect pedal looper, or how you would like to call it, yes. Then you can have that running, you can manipulate it, play with the granular, play with the modulating, with the filters, maybe put on some more delay and reverb, and then suddenly that becomes a bridge into the next part of the live set or the next track, and you can have that running. And just because the S4 has so much potential of creating so much fun textures, that will live its own life. You don't have to work that much with it without it becomes so interesting just as it is. So you can suddenly have that is looping something that you have created from before, and you maybe record it directly, and you have that on an own channel that is living its own life, and you can start working, like programming your drums. Meanwhile, you still have this running, so it becomes a little bit like a second hand, like a partner that does another work for you, so you can do other stuff at the same time. Or you suddenly create a new track, I guess.
Right. So you can say that it's very hard to put the S4 in one singular category because it can be a sampler, but it's more than that. It can be your end of chain processor. It can, like you said, a live looper.
Yes.
So it can do so many things very well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And exactly. And I would say also, whatever your love synth is, that you of course like the sound and character of, adding the S4 on top of that with the filters and the noises and sculpturing the sound of your favorite synth, it gives that extra flavor and spiciness to your synth that is really, really nice, and I love that.
Perfect. Jolene, thank you so much for taking the time for showing
you.
us a little bit of the S4. There's definitely a lot to unpack, and you definitely have elevated my gear acquisition syndrome, and I really, really would like to get my hands on it. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So we're back home, and it's been a week since Superbooth, so I apologize for the delay in even getting this out and the editing and everything. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that I met at Superbooth. Thank you to everyone who came up and said hi. It's just the people that really made this experience the best possible experience of my entire life, synth related, because I was not expecting to connect with so many great individuals. I was not expecting to have as good of a time that I did, and I will definitely 100% do everything in my power to be back next year. I'm very excited to just get back to the roots, to just making music, to having fun with electronic instruments. Like, that's really the root of it all. And that's really why we all gathered in Berlin, was to have fun with our instruments and be around people that are also passionate about this. I hope you enjoyed this casual style of vlog to really kind of just see Superbooth through my eyes and my experience. And that's really kind of all that I wanted. I didn't really want to go deep into the latest and greatest that was being announced and released, and everyone was like super hyped about X, Y, and Z synths being released or whatever. I just wanted to see and explore the booths and the instruments that I personally was interested in and that I personally could see potentially making it into my live set. So that was kind of my perspective on this vlog. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, because there will be more music content coming your way. And as always, keep pushing, keep playing, keep patching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.